if you give me 2 years, you're going to give me either a vendor take-back mortgage or you're going to give me the down payment, as a second mortgage, and I will arrange private financing on the rest of it.
This episode is brought to you by Shrubs.me. If you can convince someone to lend you 150, 200 grand to buy a Fakakta house in Woodstock, for God's sakes, that's going to make $400 a month, then you can convince someone to lend you 200 grand to buy a 10 unit or a 50 unit building.
I'll tell you how you buy the 50 unit building right now. Okay. Because first of all, there's a lot of those buildings who are owned
let's go do it
by the older generation. Okay.
Older generation. Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to find somebody, you're going to make a relationship with somebody who owns a building, and you're going to, let them know that you're interested in buying the building. Let them know that you care about the building, and let them know that you want to make sure that that building is their retirement plan and that they're going to get the most amount of money for it. And you're going to understand the real estate repositioning asset business model. You're going to be able to understand what it's going to take to increase the value of that building. And so now you're going to tell that person, hey, I want to buy the building off you. And that if you give me 2 years to, right, you're going to give me either a vendor take-back mortgage or you're going to give me the down payment, as a second mortgage, and I will arrange private financing on the rest of it, okay? But you're going to give me two-year period of time to be able to pay you back all the money, right?
First mortgages love it when your second mortgage is all the money that's in the deal, by the way.
Private mortgages.
Yeah, they love that so much. That's easy.
You can get that. You can get that type of mortgage arrangement from somebody out there. I'm not saying it's easy, but there's somebody out there who's in first position.
Yeah.
And who's got the loan to value they're happy with, and they see the income they want. Now, the second mortgage terms might not be great for that owner, but the purchase price is. And that's where he benefits. And you can do balloon payments so that he's getting payment later on.
So you got to pay more. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you have to pay. You have to overpay. That's the only way you're going to get it.
But
the terms are going to be there because what's going to happen now is over those 2 years, you're going to reposition it. You're going to fix up some units. You're going to raise the rent. You're going to get the income. And then you're going to bring it to a bank at the end of that. And you're going to be able to own an asset that is going to be cash flow positive, that is going to be at an A lender with reasonable rates, and that you're going to be, in the asset you want. And the seller's going to get all their money back. Like that's realistically how you're going to get a deal on a commercial multifamily building in the Southern Ontario area.
Yeah, that's one way that definitely could work. And you know how to make it work is like just fucking go out there and pepper them all with offers, right? That look like that.
Sure. But is someone really going to do that if they don't know you, right? So you're better off to go and start a relationship with someone and then spend the next few years developing that relationship. Look, I'm really interested in your building. This is what it is. Because you know what? A lot of these guys had help to buy those buildings from the guy that they bought the building off of. This is how it was done.
You're going to build those relationships by making those calls and by blanketing things with offers. People are going to invite you over. People are going to talk to you on the phone. People are going to say, not now, but call me in a couple of years. You got to get that flywheel turning.
There's a ton of people who own those buildings right now, Darryl, where the rents are way lower than they need to be. They're stressed. They don't care. They got vacancies. They're just like, this building I'm so tired of. I paid it off 20 years ago, and they want to sell. But they also want to sell it for the most amount of money. So I'm just letting anybody know who doesn't have money. There are those deals. I've put those deals together before. Okay, I know exactly how those deals work. I bought those type of deals. This is exactly how anybody can get into commercial multifamily, and that there's lenders who are ready to facilitate that.
So the
private lenders,
but the rents can't be so low that there's no churn in the building. See, this is what ends up happening: is you come up with these buildings, right, that have rents that are way below market, and because they're so below market, if they're a decent enough building, good luck getting these people out. Good luck getting them to leave.
Well, you need to know what to offer them. I was at a building in Little Italy on Friday. I go to meet a guy, maybe Thursday, and I go to meet with this guy who's owned the building. He got it from his uncle. His uncle owned it for 37 years. He's owned it for 20. 3 residential, 1 commercial. Got a little problem with the tenant. He's working on that, and then he says, maybe I want to sell. He's not going to sell because the price that he's going to get is nowhere near what he wants. But anyways, long story short is I told him what to do, and I looked at his rents, and he's got 1 unit that's about $1,000 a month low. So I said, here, this is what you got to do. And this is what you need to understand, because he doesn't understand this. He got the building from his uncle. He doesn't understand the business model of it. He just understands how to collect rent and fix the leaky sink. And I said, you got $1,000 a month short right now on that unit. So you got $12,000 a year NOI that you could be increasing if you had to get that tenant out and re-rent it out at market rents. 12,000 NOI at a 5 cap is $240,000 valuation. So you're talking about increasing the value of the building by $240,000 if you can just rent out that room for that unit for $1,000 more a month. And he's like, "Oh." So I said, "So how much is it worth it to pay that tenant to leave?"
Right.
How much?
Less than 240.
Right?
Yeah.
What do they want? Have the conversation with them.
Yeah.
You want 50 grand? I'm not saying you'll get that, but I mean, there are scenarios where it would make sense for a landlord to do that. But most tenants in that situation, when they hear $10,000, going to be giving to them to go and find another apartment that they've kind of been thinking about leaving anyways for a long time, it's a lot of money.